Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining the Don Lemon Show. Thank you for joining Hot Topics, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. I'm getting myself situated here because, as you can see, I'm not in my studio. I'm away doing Friendsgiving. So that's where we are. So thank you for joining us on all the platforms. Thank you for joining us on YouTube. Make sure you hit the like button. Please, everyone, I want you to do that. Like, subscribe. On all the platforms, especially on YouTube. We're about to hit 1 million subscribers. So that is amazing, amazing, amazing for us and our team. And before I go any further, team, how excited are we? Right? We need everybody to share. Yes?
Yeah, super excited.
Super excited.
Super.
Very excited.
Very excited. And Nikki is not here this morning. She'll be back later. So she is excited as well. So on TikTok, on Instagram, on YouTube, Facebook, iHeart Apple Podcasts, and did I say Spotify already? Apple, Spotify. Oh, and iHeart. Yeah, iHeart. So anyways, like and subscribe. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Become a member as well. Okay. So away for Friendsgiving. Anyways, this is where I am. I'm staying and I'm doing the show from here because it's important. My friends and folks have been like, you're doing a show. You're supposed to be on vacation. There is no vacation right now. We have to bring you the news. We have to tell you what's happening in this country because, quite honestly, it's effed up. Do you guys know what's happening? There's one thing that's really pissing me off. And I hate, by the way, I think you guys know, I hate that word, pissing me off. It just sounds so gross when someone says piss. I hate that. But anyways, Pete Hegseth and Donald Trump, the nerve they have to try to call out Mark Kelly, who is a hero among men who served this country. I will call him a war hero, but an astronaut, a veteran, a public servant. His wife dealt with the most horrible political violence imaginable. She almost lost her life. And the way that they're treating this patriot is really unbelievable. And it shows their character. So I just want to tell you guys today, I want to talk about how MAGA is just taking L's left and right now. And I think that they have not only jumped the shark, right? I mean, it's been way beyond that, but they're so desperate. And for what? Desperate because they're losing power. They know that this whole thing is built on a lie, on hate, on all of the things. It's not patriotic at all. They don't believe in the Constitution. Donald Trump is a criminal, a convicted felon. So this morning, we went through and I said, let's just say what it is, team. MAGA is desperate. And I looked at that thumbnail that we just put up on the screen before we came on the show. It's got Trump on it. It's got Lindsey Halligan. It's got Pete Hegseth. If you want to put it up, Andy, you can. It's got Pete Hegseth. All three of them looking like somebody just told them that the truth for the first time, what it looks like in their lives. And I just thought to myself, like, where are we now? These are the faces of the movement that used to talk like they were 10 feet tall and they were bulletproof. The face of the movement that has been taking loss after loss right now. And now they're the ones who are looking scared. They're trying to make other people afraid. They're trying to intimidate other people. They're trying to intimidate James Comey or Letitia James or Fani Willis or Lisa Cook or Mark Kelly, a bunch of folks. And now they're the ones looking scared because they keep taking all of these losses. They are the ones who look confused. They are the ones who sound desperate right now. And you know what desperation sounds like? It sounds like nonsense. It sounds like projection. It sounds like people who are used to getting away with everything and then suddenly realizing that the world is not moving in the way that they want it to move. And the world is not moving out of their way anymore. So I sat with my tea this morning. I hope you have some. And, and I just kept shaking my head because I thought, all of this is happening at the same time. Donald Trump's legal walls collapsing right now. His loyalists turning on each other. I mean, Marjorie Taylor Greene, right? Members of Congress quitting and retiring, running for the exits. Marjorie Taylor Greene having a public meltdown. You have Steve Bannon ranting from whatever undisclosed basement he is sitting in. And then Pete Hegseth, of all people, opening his mouth or really typing on his computer or phone or whatever it is, insults and attacking Mark Kelly, a sitting United States senator, a man who buried friends, wore the uniform, and literally put his life on the line for this country. Pete Hegseth could never, as a pipsqueak and, he is, look, and I was a cable news host. I would never put myself even in the same category as Mark Kelly. Never, ever. This little pipsqueak who did not serve and did not even nearly get to the rank and could never. And somewhere deep down, he knows that he could never. And so he is standing behind Donald Trump because Donald Trump wants him to be a bully. He's basically like, yeah, let me tell you something. Don't mess with my boss, right, boss? Come on, that's it. So I want to start right there because the arrogance is the tell here. Every time MAGA starts really losing, they get louder and louder and louder and louder, and they get meaner. They get more reckless. They grab the first person they can find to blame, try to make example out of it, and they throw out words that they don't understand. And then they start fights that they're not equipped to finish. And then they go after people who have done more for this country in a single week than they have ever done in their entire lives. You know, Captain Bone Spurs. So when Pete Hegseth goes online talking trash about Mark Kelly, you know what that is, that he's a scared man. He's doing what scared men do. First he has to suck up to the boss, a man who knows his movement is cracking, the MAGA movement. He knows he's only as powerful as Donald Trump's mood. And Donald Trump is not in a good mood. He's in a spiral right now. So let's put up what Pete Hegseth said about Mark Kelly. So he said, Captain Kelly, let me make this bigger. Captain Kelly, not only did your sedition video intentionally undercut good order and discipline, but you can't even display your uniform correctly. Your medals are out of order and rows reversed. If you are recalled to active duty, I'll start with a uniform inspection. Okay, and so Mark Kelly tweeted, when I was 22 years old, I was commissioned as an ensign in the United States. And he goes through his whole litany of things, and then he has the medals and all the things up there. Okay, so maybe Pete Hegseth, if he is taking a picture in a mirror, that'll be reversed. And also, if you are shooting on a phone, an iPhone, depending on the camera that you're using, it reverses. But let's just say, even if this is true, that he got it backwards or whatever it is you want to say that he did. Really, Pete Hegseth? I would put his medals and bars, stars and bars, or just bars and medals up against yours anytime. His experience, his service, his humanity, up against yours anytime. So I want you to look at all of the losses this week, okay? And I'm going to walk you through one because it's not normal and it's not random. So this is a collapse. I just want you to know. And I've been telling you guys this for a long time, that this is a collapse, starting the collapse of the MAGA movement. We had actually had a conversation last night. Again, I told you I was at Friendsgiving, and some of the folks believe that this is just a sort of MAGA is redefining itself. Who knows? Maybe. Perhaps that's what happened with the Tea Party. The Tea Party eventually became MAGA, but I think the MAGA movement is in decline. It's descendant. And progressivism is ascending. That's what I believe. So first, the Comey case. This is the evidence. years of yelling about deep state conspiracies, years of calling him the embodiment of evil, years of promising revenge. And what happens? Case dismissed. Not because of politics, not because of bias, but because there was nothing there. Nothing. Just another empty box in a long line of empty boxes that Trump and his people keep pulling out to show the crowd. That's all it is. Nothing inside, nothing to stand on, nothing that holds up in the daylight. It's just revenge. And people who really seek revenge that way tend to be petty. Because, if you're a believer and, Pete Hegseth and all these guys, Donald Trump, even Donald Trump, they say, oh my gosh, I'm a believer. I'm a Christian. Vengeance is mine, said the Lord. You don't have to. If you are a secure person, you don't have to seek revenge. Like, it comes without you having to do it. And it's better when you keep your dignity about you. Come on. Can I get an amen, a witness? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Let me know in the chat if you know what I'm talking about. Let me know if you know what I'm talking about. So, who lost that case? Trump did. And who tried to revive that case? Trump did. Who keeps using that man's name as a political chew toy? It's Donald Trump. And when it all fell apart just yesterday, the sound you heard in the distance was every lawyer in the Trump world and Trump universe taking a deep breath and realizing the courts are not bending anymore. Judges are not bending anymore. The law is not bending anymore. Second, we're going to get to, and that is the economy. But before I get to the economy, I want to keep on this Mark Kelly thing, okay? So Pete Hegseth, you saw him attacking this morning. Mark Kelly was on the television last night. I believe it was a CNN. And he's like, the same places where he keeps those medals right near his shoulder, brushing it off, saying it was to be expected. Here it is.
At least he's coming after you first. Do you have any opinion as to why he may have singled you out in this way?
I don't know. We would have to ask him that question. Could be him, could be Pete Hegseth. I don't know. And I would have been really shocked if any other president, did this. But when I saw that tweet today, it kind of sort of made sense. I mean, these two guys, they informed me of this in a tweet, because this is not about the law. This is about the media cycle, and it's about intimidation. And it's almost, the whole thing's almost comical. Like, how does reciting the UCMJ, how is that, which is the Uniform Code of Military Justice? We basically repeated the Uniform Code of Military Justice, and they're saying that's in violation of the Uniform Code of Military Justice. It's absurd.
Very good point. It is absurd. All they did was, as I've been telling you, is just recite that and say it. And this is what service members hear every single day. Now, that was on the Rachel Maddow show. There's one that's on the CNN. We'll play it a little bit later. But then on the Rachel, excuse me, again on the Rachel Maddow show, that was a very good point, because that's what they're doing. And so this isn't going to hold up either. This is not going to hold up either. So how much longer are we going to continue with this? And maybe that's just the point, is just to put stuff out in the universe. The MAGA folks will believe it. Mark Kelly is a traitor. He's not a hero. He's not a patriot. But everybody knows it's bullshit, because the man is. So maybe that's the whole point. And then just to sort of make their lives, put their lives, just make it harder. And so this is one more from the Rachel Maddow show, where he talks about political violence. Here's Mark Kelly.
Rachel, I've had a missile blow up next to my airplane. I've been shot down, nearly shot down multiple times. I've flown a rocket ship into space 4 times, built by the lowest bidder. And my wife, Gabby Giffords, meeting with her constituents, shot in the head, 6 people killed around her. A horrific thing. She spent 6 months in the hospital. We know what political violence is, and we know what causes it, too. The statements that Donald Trump made is insightful incites others. He's got millions of supporters. People listen to what he says more so than anybody else in the country. And he should be careful with his words. But I'm not going to be silenced here. Is it stressful? I've been stressed by, things more important than Donald Trump trying to intimidate me into shutting my mouth and not doing my job. He didn't like what I said. I'm going to show up for work every day, support the Constitution, do my job, hold this administration accountable, hold this president accountable when he is out of line. That's the responsibility of every U.S. senator and every member of Congress. He's not going to silence us.
Yeah. No, there's one, Andy, there's one of Mark Kelly on the CNN that says this is all so comical for Mark Kelly. And then Ruben Gallego is the next one.
We played the comical one, the Mark Kelly. That was the first one we played.
Yeah, they're all on Maddow.
Oh, they're all Maddow. Okay, so then there are three then. Is there another Maddow?
Yes.
Yes.
Patriotism.
Okay. Great. Thank you very much. So Mark Kelly is saying, this is no sweat off my brow. And as I said, these people are not patriots. Mark Kelly is. Here he is.
Well, Rachel, I spent 25 years in the United States Navy. I flew 39 combat missions over Iraq and Kuwait. Let me start by saying I never questioned any order. And you're required to follow all legal orders. You're also required not to follow illegal ones. And I think most people can figure out, just take some common sense in what would be an illegal order. But I think it's important for people to know that they need to be able to stand up and speak out. And I wanted them to know that members of Congress understand that this president doesn't seem to care about the Constitution, the rule of law. And I have to say, I don't think there's anything more patriotic than standing up for the Constitution. And right here, right now, this week, the president clearly is not doing that.
Clearly, these people, meaning the Democratic lawmakers, and especially Mark Kelly, who is now being, with the threat of being put under investigation, they're not scared. And it's so stupid of the Trump administration to do this because they're making heroes out of these people. Basically, they're making heroes out of the Democrats. The Democrats have backed the Republicans into a corner. I want you guys to listen to me closely because when Democrats don't do the right thing, I call them out. When Republicans don't do the right thing, I call them out. And I've been saying the Democrats are weak. The Democrats are weak. They need better messaging. All of it, which I believe is true. Now the Democrats' messaging, I believe, is much better and much more on point than the Republicans. Even during the shutdown, the Democrats had the Republicans, MAGA, backed into a corner. I don't know why they relented. They believe that it was the best thing to do. I don't. The public polling, the public was on the side of the Democrats. Everyone wants affordable health care. Everyone wants to have Medicare or Medicaid. Everyone is deserving of the services that they are entitled to. And people, there is nothing wrong with anybody from any party saying that we should have affordable health care for every single American. So I believe the Democrats had the Republicans back them into a corner there. With the messaging that went out to the American people, I believe the Democrats still won, even though we had the 7 Democrats who voted to open the government back up. And I believe in this particular situation, Republicans are doing the same thing. They are unwittingly giving the upper hand to the Democrats right now. Because all you have to do is read the military code of conduct or however Mark Kelly encapsulates, or however he says, he defines it. And all you have to do is look at that, and it's making the Democrats seem like patriots and heroes. There's no other way around it. That's what it looks like. And Democrats are standing behind their fellow Democrats. Finally, they're on the same message. They are walking to the same beat of the drum. I wish the media would do that. I wish the reporters would do that and stand by each other. So that hasn't happened, but I think it will come around. I really do think, perhaps, I don't know. I'll have to think about that one, especially with the consolidation of this conservative media. I don't know. I got to think about that. Maybe not. That's going to be a tough one. That's going to be a tough one. And I hope when the Democrats take over the Congress and they take over the White House, that they take care of the media, especially those who kowtow to Donald Trump and those companies. Yeah. I'd like to see that changed because it's not right. Anyway, I digress. Democrats are standing by each other, like Ruben Gallego, who was actually on the CNN, standing up for Mark Kelly. Here it is.
Well, I think number one, you will never, ever, ever even be half the man that Senator Kelly is. You, sir, are a coward. And the fact that you are following this order from the president shows how big of a coward you are. And I can't wait till you no longer are the Secretary of Defense.
And do we have the one from yesterday of Ruben Gallego? I don't know how quickly you can find that, Andy. But Ruben Gallego, the one that I liked yesterday was just really the social media post that he put out. And I was like, yes, this is how Democrats should be, standing up, bringing the heat, taking no shit from nobody. I know that's bad grammar, but not taking shit from anybody. This is a type of pushback I would like to see people do to the MAGA lunatics. Here it is.
This is fucking insane. We should all point out how fucking insane this is. Hey, this is Ruben Gallego. I'm traveling through Arizona right now, and I just received the news that the Department of Defense is starting investigation against my seatmate, Mark Kelly. This is fucking insane. We should all point out how fucking insane this is. And, you know, these guys are trying to say that they're not acting like fascists. They're not trying to give as much power to this president as a king, and they should stop acting like it. Mark Kelly's a patriot. There's no reason why they're going after him. He was doing his duty and just reminding people about their rights as service members. And, you know, Secretary Hegseth, all these guys, fuck you guys. You're not going to be able to scare us. We have a right to defend the Constitution of the United States. We have a right to tell other service members that they have a right to ignore illegal orders, and you're not going to be able to intimidate us.
More of that, Ruben Gallego. Producers, let's try to get him. Let's try to get him. That's what every single person, I wish every Democrat would come out this strongly, and even Republicans. I wish they'd come out this strongly for the patriotic Democrats who put out that video. Don't follow unlawful orders. That's the truth. That they're not supposed to follow unlawful orders. That's just it. So I don't see this going anywhere. But I wish the Republicans would do it. Last I heard, not one Republican has reached out to any of them, unless I'm missing something. And what does that tell you? What does that tell you? This is a video. Now, I'm going to listen. This is the original video that I see. I want you to just listen to this and just see if you see anything that's wrong, because basically they are saying what the orders that they're supposed to follow in their code of conduct. Here it is.
I'm Senator Alyssa Slotkin.
Senator Mark Kelly.
Representative Chris Deluzio.
Congresswoman Maggie Goodlander.
Representative Chrissy Houlihan.
Congressman Jason Crow.
I was a captain in the United States Navy.
Former CIA officer.
Former Navy. Former paratrooper and Army Ranger.
So anyway, they go on to say what they're supposed to do. Now, these are the L's that they're taking, because this will surely be thrown out or nothing will happen to Mark Kelly. He's going to have to get some attorneys and probably put out some money, but then they'll probably make the Trump administration or the government perhaps pay back his legal fees. And that may happen with all of them. Again, I'm not an attorney, but I don't even know if they would care. But it's going to take a lot of money. Perhaps they're going to raise money for them. But anyway, they're just saying that you don't have to follow unlawful orders. That's one of the L's they're taking. They're also taking L's in the economy, like a huge L's in the economy. And Donald Trump is still out here pretending that everything is good. I think we have a soundbite of Donald Trump doing that, and also J.D. Vance. But you're going to hear from J.D. Vance and Donald Trump right after a word from our sponsors. Support for the show today comes from Lean. Now, I didn't know doctors did Black Friday sales, but Brickhouse Nutrition does, and they just rolled out their biggest one of the year. Everything is 30% off. That includes Lean, their doctor-formulated weight loss supplement for people who want to lose real weight without injections. Now, I've got friends using it. They swear it is helping them. My other half uses it. Helping. Looks great. They're also taking 30% off of Creatine. Creatine made specifically for women to help you look more toned without adding extra workouts. And Field of Greens, the only superfruit and veggie powder shown in a university study to help slow aging. Even your doctor will notice. Every Brickhouse product, sleep, collagen, all of it, 30% off. These deals go fast, so if you want to start something healthier for the holidays or the new year, this is the time. Go to brickhousesale.com and save 30%. One more time, that's brickhousesale.com. Support comes from MSI Reproductive Choices. MSI provides contraception, safe abortion, and essential reproductive health care in 36 countries. And in many of those places, they're the only provider. This year has been tough. Aid has been cut, programs are disappearing, women are losing options, but MSI is still standing because donors stepped up when governments did not. They saw the writing on the wall after Trump's first term and diversified their funding, but still they lost $20 million. And yet they just keep going because people believe women deserve choices because healthcare is a human right. For just $65, you can provide contraception for 10 women for an entire year. That's real impact. You can text LEMON to 511-511 or go to msiunitedstates.org. That's M as in modern, S as in safe, I as in informed. Text LEMON to 511-511 or visit msiunitedstates.org. Text fees may apply. Thank you very much to all of our sponsors. Now, let's talk about the economy, shall we? Because Donald Trump and his folks like to pretend the economy is great. I've been telling you every day, I like to give you the real skinny on the economy. And the economy is pretty skinny right now, except for the bloated deficit that the Trump administration has caused us to have right now. The economy is not great. But if you listen to them, let me just talk to you about this a little bit. Because the economy, this is one of the L's they're taking. And this, I think this is poetic because this is the issue that they have been screaming about for months, that the economy is good, but the economy is, that they inherited this terrible economy. And we're so good, we're so good. Trump says he inherited a mess and he made it better, but he didn't inherit a mess. By all metrics, the economy was better under Joe Biden. Do you hear me? Economists in America are saying the same thing. They can't blame the Democrats. They can't blame Biden. They cannot blame immigration. They cannot blame Congress. This is a mess. These are Trump's numbers. Here's the Vice President of the United States in an interview spouting bullshit about the economy. Roll it.
When do we really see the engine of the economy start to take off?
Well, some of it's already started, Sean, but some of it is going to take a long time because we inherited a disaster. We inherited the highest peacetime debt and deficits in the history of the United States of America. We inherited the worst inflation crisis in at least the last 40 years, and I think probably longer. I know that there are a lot of people.
Can you just pause real quick? Okay. Let's just give them that that's true. It's not. There's nuance to that. But you know why it was that way? That they're not telling you? It's because of how Donald Trump fucked up the economy the first time he was in office, and Joe Biden had to pull us out of it. Donald Trump threw away the pandemic playbook from Barack Obama. And thus, when COVID happened, and everything shut down, they didn't know how to handle it. They didn't know how to deal with it. It was a flu. It's going to go away. Don't take the vaccines. Don't do this. Don't wear a mask. None of these things. They didn't want us to do any of these things. They wanted to pretend that it was not a crisis. Nothing was happening as millions of people were dying. That's what they wanted to do. And that's what happened. That's how the economy went off of a cliff. That's what people said, okay, enough. This is terrible. And they elected Joe Biden. And Joe Biden came in and had to fix a spiraling economy that was circling the drain, just as Barack Obama had to do from George W. Bush. That's truth. And now they want to say, well, we inherited whatever. Yeah, you inherited parts of your own economy. And it would have been worse had Joe Biden not fixed it. And you know who said that? Steve Ratner on national television this morning. Didn't whisper. He didn't cushion it. He didn't dress it up. He said the country is going in the wrong way, and the man in the Oval Office owns it. Roll it.
Well, the point I'm making is that Vance can say that they inherited a bad economy, but the problem is the economy is actually getting worse, not better. You can inherit a bad economy, but then you're supposed to do stuff to make it better. And virtually every statistic shows it's in fact worse under Trump than it was under Biden in his last year. So if you take a look, for example, at payrolls growth, you can see under Biden, we averaged about 170,000 jobs a month. And under Trump, it's dropped to something like 77,000 jobs per month. And so we're actually going the wrong way. And if you read any story, look at any statistic, any survey, and there was a big one in the Wall Street Journal yesterday, everybody is talking about how this is one of the worst job markets since the Great Recession, especially for young people.
What's driving that, especially for young people who, I'm telling you, this is such a growing crisis. Young people in college, at great universities, even at great universities, getting out to no jobs. What's going on there, and what is making the labor market so weak right now?
This is not just, and just so you know, this is not just about blue collar workers. This is not about working class. It's not about poor people. Even the folks who are from Ivy League institutions, white collar workers, are having a hard time finding jobs. This is the entire sector. If it was not for AI, then the economy would be off of a cliff. The stock market would be in shambles. AI is really, and some of the tech folks, even though the tech people are laying off people as well, mostly it's AI, artificial intelligence, the folks who work within that sector. That's what's keeping the economy going. It's not good. I mean, to say the labor market is weak, I believe, is an understatement. Let's let Steve Ratner explain.
It's a 9.2% unemployment rate among people 20 to 24 who are looking for jobs. Wow. And I think there's a couple of factors. You have to say that AI is a piece of this. I don't know how big of a piece of it. A lot of it is because of all the uncertainty under Trump. The tariffs are on, the tariffs are off. We don't really know. Companies are just cutting back. They're just becoming leaner. The economy is slower, as I'll talk about in a minute, and so they don't need as many people. And they've just really started to reduce their hiring in a dramatic way for these various reasons, from worries about the economy, AI, and so forth.
All right, let's take a look at your second chart, and that is affordability and growth challenges. This is the issue. President Trump has called the affordability crisis a hoax, a con job, but then rolling back tariffs to address just that, affordability.
Well, again, affordability.
And here's the thing. I want you guys to listen to this very closely. I like Steve Ratner because he lays it out. Donald Trump likes to tout his tariffs, saying that they're the best thing since sliced bread. And that, and trying to pretend, he and everyone in his administration trying to pretend, Scott Bessent, that it's not the consumer who actually is paying the taxes. It's a tax on consumers. Tariffs are a weight on the economy. It's an anchor on the economy. And I don't mean holding it down. I mean sending it to the bottom of the ocean so that it can't rise. Watch.
Comes down in large part to economic growth. You have to have economic growth in order for people to have more income and therefore to be able to buy more stuff. And economic growth is also going the wrong way. You can see under Biden, it averaged 2.4% in his last year, and it was steady upward. Under Trump, it's bounced around, but it's going to average only 2% this year. And even the 2% that Trump is going to get is heavily driven by all this AI spending on data centers that you've been reading about and talking about, which obviously have nothing to do with him. And so the economy is, in fact, slowing, not growing faster, and a downward trend. The fourth quarter could be down here in the 1 to 1.5% range. And then you also hear, when you talk about affordability, about housing. And so housing starts, which is what we need more housing, obviously, for people to be able to afford them, have dropped. And you can see what they did under Biden, and you can see down here under Trump, they are lower. And so we're building fewer houses. And so Vance can talk all he wants about inheriting a bad economy, but what you have to be able to do is then make the economy go the right way, even from whatever you get, rather than going the wrong way. And right now, it is going the wrong way, and especially on jobs and affordability.
All right, on your third chart,
Wow.
Steve, we're looking.
Okay, pause. I hate to depress you guys, but that's just the real deal. I mean, I know that there are some MAGA folks who are probably some trolls that are in the comments, or maybe just some MAGA folks who listen to us because they either like us or they're learning something, or maybe they're hate watching us. But this is the real truth, TRUF. This is the real truth of the matter, is that what they're doing is not working. That's what I said. I mean, they are desperate. Is that the end of it, Andy, or is there more to it?
There's another 2.5 minutes.
Okay, so now they went to affordability. Let's see. There's another sector that they want to talk about, something else. Affordability and growth challenged.
At inflation, which has been persistent in part because of the tariffs.
Okay, so remember when he's going to talk about the tariffs. Remember when Donald Trump said, "Oh, we have handled, or basically ended inflation." Again, he just says it and people believe it. I don't think he gets fact checked. I know he doesn't get fact checked on Fox News. Laura Ingraham tried to do it a bit in an interview with him. He just completely talked around it, as what J.D. Vance did in that interview with Sean Hannity. Watch.
Exactly. And so, again, they talk about inflation, and they talk about, and he said it in that clip about he inherited the worst inflation in 50 years and all that kind of stuff. It was 3% when he inherited it, less than 3%. And what's happened here is inflation did start to go down under Trump, but then you had the tariffs, and now it's back up to 3%. And that puts pressure on the Fed's ability to cut interest rates. In comparison, Goldman Sachs, before Trump got here, Goldman Sachs, assuming a more normal set of policies, thought inflation would be down to 2.2% at this point. And in fact, because of the tariffs and everything else Trump has done, it's back up to 3% and growing at the moment. And all of that put together has created this incredibly pessimistic mood among people, where consumer sentiment now is down all the way down here. It is down. In fact, if I took this chart back further, it would be down to levels of the great financial crisis.
Oh my God.
In terms of how people feel about this economy. They are unbelievably negative about this economy. And so, as I said, Vance can talk all he wants, but if it had gotten better, we've now almost a full year into the Trump administration. If it had gotten better, you'd think people would start to recognize that and feel that. It doesn't show up in the numbers, and it doesn't show up in what people are telling pollsters and so forth about how they feel.
A lot of business are shocked.
Okay. Since the great financial crisis, everyone. But somehow you don't hear Republicans or MAGA folks screaming from the rooftop saying that Donald Trump is bad. It shows up in the polling. Maybe it's a quiet quitting. Maybe they're quitting him quietly. Maybe it's a quiet conscience or unconscious, conscious or unconscious uncoupling that's happening here. So I don't see how anyone could think that there's something good is happening here. I don't see that. I don't understand it. I don't understand how people can see something good is happening by pulling people off of the streets. I said I did not want to show you guys this morning, Andy, but I'm going to have to because it's a holiday week, it's morning, and it's a little heavy. But I want to show you this. We talk about the economy, and we talk about about due process for all people in the United States, not just citizens. That's what our Constitution says. Now, brace yourselves for this, okay? Because this is a young person, a child, filming on a phone as their parent is being brutalized by ICE. Watch.
Ma! Ma, no, no, Ma, Ma.
Is that what they want? Is that what you guys want? Is that what you voted for? I know that is awful to watch. It breaks my heart. You can't watch that without crying. And I believe that's why Donald Trump and this administration, that's why they're taking all of these losses right now, is because people are sick of it. And there are some people who are vocal about it. And there's some people who are just quiet, like the people who went to the polls a couple Tuesdays ago and said, I've had enough. And they voted against Donald Trump. Donald Trump was on the ballot. They just voted against him and MAGA. I'm sorry to have to show you that. I'm sorry that that happened to these folks. That woman isn't a criminal. There's a 16-year-old kid driving in a car. Do you have to treat someone like that? But you watch, mark my words, karma is a bitch. And it's going to come back to them. Vengeance is mine. Watch, mark my words. And not only do you have people who don't believe in the MAGA folks, Democrats or independents, you have Republicans too, like Marjorie Taylor Greene. And there is a report that there will be an exodus in Congress because of this and because of what Marjorie Taylor Greene started. We'll get to that right after word from our sponsors. Support comes from Heat Holders. Everyone knows Heat Holders makes the warmest thermal socks, 7 times warmer than cotton, and the independent lab tests prove it. Now, I love mine. They're my go-to every winter. My feet cannot get enough of them, and they make great gifts for friends and family. But here's the best kept secret. That warmth, that same warmth, isn't just in the socks. It's in their hats, it's in their gloves, base layers, pajamas, blankets, and vests. I absolutely love their fleece lounge pants. Perfect for chilly nights when I'm home working or walking the dogs. Their base layers come in 3 warmth levels, and they even make jackets and fleece vests to keep you warm all day. With over 40,000 5-star reviews, the brand really delivers. And from now until Cyber Monday, you can save 25% with the code DON25 at heatholders.com. Free shipping on orders over $25. Just use the code DON25 at heatholders.com. Support comes from ZBiotics. Pre-alcohol from ZBiotics is something that I actually use before a night out, especially during the holidays. It is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic built to help you handle the next morning. When you drink, your body creates a toxic byproduct right in your gut, and that's what makes you feel awful. Pre-alcohol helps break it down. The first time I tried it was before a friend's dinner party. I took it before my first drink, drank responsibly. The next morning, completely fine, up early, ready to bring the show to you. I felt great. So if you have parties, if you have game days or holiday dinners, bring pre-alcohol with you. Go to zbiotics.com/lemon and use the code LEMON for 15% off of your first order. And it comes with a 100% money back guarantee. That's zbiotics.com/lemon. Use the code LEMON for 15% off. Thank you to our sponsors. Okay, let's put up this. Republicans, speaking of quiet quitting, this is what Axios is reporting. Andy, put it up, please. That Republicans are considering quitting Congress early. I want to go through this a little bit if we can go through. They're considering quitting Congress early. And you see Marjorie Taylor Greene sitting there in the photograph. And it says death threats and infighting. Guess what they're doing? They're spurring House Republicans to contemplate whether they want to stay in Congress or whether they want to leave. Now, that is a shocking report. People have been asking if Marjorie Taylor Greene is going to start a movement to move away from MAGA. And it looks like that perhaps she is. She's concerned about her safety. She not only did the reports indicate, not only are the reports saying that, but Marjorie Taylor Greene said it herself, that she's concerned about. Now, here's the thing. Marjorie Taylor Greene has been, talking shit about Democrats forever. And the moment she starts to back away from MAGA and she starts to tell the truth about them, now she's concerned about death threats. Death threats and infighting. spurring House Republicans to contemplate whether they want to stay in Congress or even leave early. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, her scathing resignation has rattled her colleagues. Some are questioning whether the job is still worth it when the work is drowned out by censures, violent threats, and loyalty tests to President Trump. 41 members have already announced that they plan to call it quits at the end of their term, with more expected to follow. Most House lawmakers make $174,000 a year. What are they saying? Don Bacon, a Republican from Nebraska, retiring in 2027, told Axios he was so angry at the Trump administration's proposed 28-point Russia-Ukraine peace plan last week that he thought about resigning early. The White House is not replying to that or responding to that. Look, the old people be knowing that pendulum that swung all the way to the right, people realize that they effed around and found out, is now swinging to the left. And the law of physics says it's going to go in the progressive direction. So Republicans and MAGA, look out, get ready, because you are not going to like it. We are moving right now into an era, this is the beginning, a more progressive era in the United States, in our country. Is it going to fix all the ills, all the thing that the MAGA movement and Donald Trump broke? Not immediately, but they will address it. Especially, I think Democrats have now learned their lesson. Now learned their lesson that they have to operate in a way, in a the hell with you fashion. That's what they have to do, and not worry about so much about procedure and what are people going to think of me and all of these things. The purity tests are over. Hardball time. We are in hardball times. I wanted to play something else here for you as it relates to Mark Kelly and the 7 Democrats. I believe it was however many Democrats. I'm not sure exactly how many it is. 6 Democrats. And this is from Fox News. Okay? Jessica Tarlov, trying to set the folks on Fox News straight about what's happening. They're delusional right now. And maybe they know. Deep down they know, but they have to carry the water for Donald Trump right now because he is in office, and who knows what's going to happen if they call Rupert and say, get that one off the air, blah, 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 blah. Here's Jessica Tarlov.
And Jesse said, they're doing this to sow discord and distrust amongst American citizens. Now, I think what's really sowing distrust and discord amongst American citizens is the fact that the America First movement online is a bunch of bot farms, and it's coming from Nigeria, and it's coming from Russia and Iran, but no one seems to really care about that. They want to talk about these veterans. And Pete Hegseth is proving...
What famous person on the right is from overseas?
I'm not sure. Not Benny Johnson, MAGA cult slayer.
Who?
Look at
MAGA cult slayer.
Wait, is he related to Todd Starnes?
Listen,
never even heard of him.
Pete Hegseth is proving these Democrats' point with this idea of bringing Mark Kelly in and then possibly leading to a court-martial. Because if that's what they're going to do to a sitting senator, then think about what a junior officer who's concerned about the orders that he's getting is going to face if he does go to his JAG officer. And these representatives have said that they are hearing from folks on the ground that they are concerned about the direction that we're going in. And this is...
It's really tough to bring some reality to Fox News. She tries, but those people they live in such la delusional land that it's hard for they just don't want to hear it. But then, when it starts swinging the other direction, they'll just push back and say that, the Democrats are wrong. And this is somehow unpatriotic what the Democrats are doing and blah, blah, blah. That's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. These are the times that we're in. And you know how it's going to happen? I'm going to show you something. I'm just going to give you a little bit. Gosh, I don't even know if I want to go here. We'll save it for you for later. Because I think the media is going to dig in. The media is going to dig in. What do you think, Peter? Should we play the Barry Weiss thing, or should we just leave it for later? Maybe we should save it.
We can save it.
I think we'll save it. I hate to tease you guys like that, but we'll save it for a little bit later. Because wait till you see what the conservative media, the folks who are buying up all the media channels, Paramount buying CBS, conservative who bought it. There's a conservative now who is running CBS News. And then they are in the running for buying Warner Brothers Discovery as well, which owns CNN, which means they'll have CNN, they'll have CBS, and then also they own a stake or have at least some sort of say over what happens with TikTok and the algorithm. So you want to know what you're seeing on your television, why you're seeing this. Like, wait a minute, what is going on with CBS? What is happening with CNN? What's going? I tried to tell you guys 4 years ago, and then I ended up here. There you go. So if you would like to know anything about the Don Lemon Show, you can go to donlemon.com, donlemon.com. Make sure you subscribe. And we said we wanted you to send the copy or a link to our show, the show page on YouTube. Send it to all of your friends and family. Closing in on 1 million subscribers. That would be a great Thanksgiving present for us. We'd be grateful for that. Click on the top button, the arrow, which is the YouTube, and you can subscribe. Or you can subscribe. Look, right at the bottom of your screen, bottom right-hand side of your screen, there's a Don Lemon Show. I think the logo is there. Maybe the logo's on the left. I'm not sure. I think it's reversed on mine. But right there at the bottom of the screen, there's a subscribe button. Subscriptions are free. So go and click on it. And then also become a member, because that's how we stay viable, is through our memberships. And that's it, because we don't have the big corporate sponsors. So like and subscribe on YouTube. Also on our newest platform, which is Twitch. You can go out all the way down where it says that and go to Twitch. That's our newest platform. It's twitch.tv/Don Lemon. You can watch us there too. And we're gonna have, of course, we're gonna continue to be live on all these platforms, but we'll have some special programming for you for each of these platforms, as we do for Substack, et cetera, and so on and so on and so on. Okay. And then click on merch. If you want to know where to get this fantastic Lemon Live with Don Lemon t-shirt, you can go to our merch store right there. So thank you so much, guys. I'm going to see you back here at 5 p.m. Eastern time here on the Don Lemon Show on the Don Lemon channel. So until then, I want you to be informed without being inundated, and I want you to turn the TV off.
Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Your support means the world to us. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss a show. We're live every weekday at 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern time, with new clips dropping at 2 p. and 8 p. And if you want even more Don Lemon Show content, join the Lemon community. Members get exclusive posts, behind-the-scenes videos, and live chats just for you. So hit the join button or visit our channel page to sign up. Thanks again for all your love and your support, and I'll see you next time.